Frank Catalina again, and just a continuation of our show. This is my first show inside City Hall, and now in the mayor's office, and I just want to show you what a beautiful office this is that the taxpayers have provided me. The city has been around, the city of Peekskill incorporated in 1940, so we're going to be coming up on our 75th anniversary next year, and there's been a very long and distinguished record of mayors who have served this city right out of this very office. So I come into this office knowing the historical significance of it, and can assure the citizens that I will treat it with the respect and dignity that it is so richly and richly deserved. I've only been the mayor for a week as of today, and one of the first things I did was meet with the city manager and provide for an orderly transfer of power, if you will, or an orderly transition into my new administration. The city manager has been very helpful to me in outlining for me where we are in the middle of certain projects. If we're in the middle of cases, he's allowed me to be brought up to speed relatively quickly, so there hasn't been any interruption in services. We had a major snowstorm my first night in office, and it was very interesting. Our city crews did a fantastic job. I think we only had 2 very minor car accidents, and very few complaints of broken pipes and or any other problems that the city can address.
Wow, you're good.
One of the things that I did was meet with the department heads over the past week. In my meetings with them, I talked to them about my philosophy of government and how I think we can better address the needs of our citizens. I met with our planning department and outlined for them, as you just heard me speak to Kevin Kane, the need for developers to come into the city of Peekskill and to have a short gap between the conceptual process and going through the approval process. I believe that process should take months, not years. And with all due respect to the environmental CEQA process, those processes can take place in a relatively short period of time if the applicant comes in prepared and the boards are willing to work with them. So I'm enthusiastic about implementing some of my ideas. I've asked the Director of Planning to come back to me within a month, by the end of January, with any proposed legislative changes that we can enact here locally to make our approval process one of the fastest and most efficient in Westchester County and maybe even the state. And I've been assured by Mike Welty, our very capable Director of Planning and Development, that he will come back to me with a set of legislative changes that will help us streamline this process. I also met with the Corporation Counsel, Ed Dunphy. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 32 years, so I know the pressures that are under our city attorney. I talked to him about my promise to do away with a lot of the outside counsels, except in very specific cases where their expertise is actually needed on a case, as opposed to just farming out cases because our local staff, in-house staff, cannot handle it. I've been assured by our counsel that the cases that outside counsel has been working on have been needed, but he's going to take a fresh look at deploying manpower within City Hall so we don't have to use outside counsels to the extent that we have in the past. We are in the middle of several lawsuits that, in my professional opinion as a lawyer, have been dragging on way too long, and they should be resolved, and we should move on with them. That would take some hard choices to make. We have the meth clinic situation, which has been a total disaster for the city to allow the meth clinic to come in here because the hospital decided they didn't want that facility at their location anymore. We are where we are. There's been a planning process that has taken years. There's been litigation that has taken another year. There's been outside counsel hired at several $100s per hour that the city has had to pay for. Not only that, the planning department, I don't know if people know this, but the planning board was sued by the city of Peekskill. The city of Peekskill hired outside counsel at a couple of $100s an hour, and the planning board had to hire counsel at a couple of $100s an hour. When you add that up, when you're talking $500, $600, $700 an hour, that adds up to real money to fight this meth clinic situation. It's currently before the zoning board, so I really don't want to say too much about it, but these are the kinds of lawsuits that generate a lot of work for outside lawyers, with no real tangible benefit to the city of Peekskill. And as everyone knows, our budgetary problems are almost legendary, and we're going to get a grip on our budget, and one of the ways that we're going to do that is to rein in this out-of-control legal department and the use of these outside specialty, I call them boutique law firms. Very capable firms, don't get me wrong, just that maybe we don't need that kind of firepower in the city of Peekskill. I've also talked to our economic development director. It's been a struggle for Peekskill to attract real economic development. I'm talking about employers that employ 20 to 30 people. I ran on that in my campaign, and people listened to me. So that's an area that we're going to be doing a lot of work in. Primarily how the economic director develops his leads from businesses, and he tells me that he relies primarily upon just word-of-mouth referrals or website inquiries. I think we can do more than that. I think we can, the economic department should have a component of advertising that is directed and focused on the people that can actually make investments in the city of Peekskill. As you know, back in September, the Westchester County Association did a showcase where they brought in real estate agents and developers to look at properties available in the city of Peekskill. But I'm told that that whole process did not result in one single hard lead who one developer has come in yet and put money down and a plan down where he wants to actually build.